Hey guys, today is July the 14th of 2022, and I want to go over the silver market, silver futures, using cycle and daily Gann price and time technical analysis. So we're going to start off with the weekly chart, weekly closes, and do some cycle analysis first, and just kind of see what the cycles are telling us, and then go into seasonalities, and then look at other charts, just to kind of pinpoint what are the probabilities of a turning point. Right now, we're making lower highs and lower lows, so the trend is down. On the commitments of trader report, it is negative, so it's down, it's bearish. And you can see the price action is pushing even lower. So we're going to try to, dissect this and decode and see where there's a probability or where a turn could possibly come. And the only way we do this is by looking at the bigger pictures and kind of putting all these different puzzles together to get the big picture. So there are three cycles that are important on the weekly chart. One is the 258, 172, and 85. The 258 is closely the dominant cycle. It's really 255, but it's close to 258. And this is the 258. So in the bigger picture, correlation is really good. It's 0.60. On the bigger picture, around August, the 21st, around there of 2023, this is when this cycle hits a trough, a cycle low. Is price action going to continue going lower all the way? It could. It could go sideways. It could just kind of fluctuate, go up and down, and then get another leg lower. But it is, in my eyes and in my opinion, kind of negative when the weekly cycles are going down. You'll get some rallies, what they say, bull rallies in a bear market. But you have to be cautious. Can you make money in this kind of trend? Yeah, you can keep shorting it, and every time it pops, just keep shorting it. Or you could just wait. If you're like a hardcore bull, you just wait till the cycles are up, and then when there's a pullback, then buy. So there's different strategies, but what I wanted to tell you is the cycles is not in favor for silver to go higher. I've been looking at my last couple of videos I've done on silver. I haven't really done much. I just kind of do one sporadic here and there. And the thesis has been the same. I've been just saying be cautious. This is not a market to go in long. If you want to play the cycles, and it's been consistent. So, and I'm happy to see that the price action is confirming this cycle instead of like going up and being inverse, making higher highs and higher lows, going to 40 and 50 while the weekly cycle is going down. Then I could be like, okay, then something's not working here. But it's good to see that the cycles are in sync with price action. So, August 21st. 2023, it's a while away, but if you're patient, if you want to put this on a sticky note, when we get around that time, let's look at where price action is, and then that's when I'm going to start saying, okay, now it's time to start looking, up, going up, if it plays out. The next cycle is the 175 or 172, and this one is interesting. This one just bottomed out around June. And this one hits a peak in like the first week of August, first week of January of 2024. So this one is pretty much inverse. But I figure I show it to you because you never know what price action is going to do. It could probably turn around and continue going up to 2024. But it's not in favor of the bigger cycle, which is the 258. And then the last cycle is, and this is a little more like fractal, smaller, it's the 85 cycle. And you can see that we hit a peak somewhere around April 11th. And if you look at it, that was kind of like where that top was right there. Do a trend line, it kind of hit resistance, and then look at this ugly sell-off. This fractal weekly cycle, call it fractal because it's smaller, It's a trough, a cycle low on the first week of January 2023. So those are your cycles for the weekly. If you want to do a composite of the 85 and the 258, this is what you get. Somewhere around February, it bottoms out, and then it kind of fluctuates up. That's a composite. That remains to be seen. If you do the 172 and the 85, see what we get there. This is what you get. A trough around November the 2nd of 2022, and then it goes up. So we can't go that far yet, but it's good to at least get some projection to see what happens once we get closer to these dates. Now we're going to go to the daily chart and see what the cycles are saying there. Okay, guys, so here is the daily cycle. This is a little more shorter in time frame. So here we have 4. There's one that is not really important, but I figure I put it out there and show it to you guys so you can kind of see what it's indicating. We'll go with the higher one. The first one is the 219 cycle. That one, it's a trough somewhere around August the 19th, around there of this year. The correlation is not great. It's not that great. So that one is projecting even lower into August on the daily. The next one is the 149. I believe. Let's see where that 149 is. Right here. And that one, we're right about pretty much, I think either today or yesterday, we hit we're very close to hitting a trough here on this one. You could want to say it's this week. We hit a trough, maybe 15, 16, around there, 17. We hit a cycle low, and then this one goes up to September 30th. That one, this is the one that's not really that strong, but I figure I'll show it to you. The next one is the 104. And this one, we just hit a trough in June to 16, and it goes projection up to August 13th. And then the last one is the 39, which is the dominant cycle here. And this is a little more fractal. This one, we just hit a trough right now, and it goes up to August 1st. So how we dissect this? Well, we'll start with the highest one, which is 219. This one by itself is a swing low of August 19. I would take the 104 and see what we get there in regards to projection. So there could possibly be a bounce coming up into August 11th and then back down to September. If we do the dominant cycle, which is the 39, this is what you get. We get a pop, probably a pop around to July, the end of the month, and then back down into August the 20th. We could also do the 149, and the 149 just gives us a trough of July, the end of the month. So that's what the cycles are saying. If there's going to be a pop, just because I already had a glance at it already, we're going to look at the seasonality. It's going to have to happen this week. And if it's going to happen this week, then a mini cluster, what I say is that a couple of things lining up is that the 39 cycle is lining up with one of the seasonality charts of maybe a possible swing low. And I think that's it. Nothing else there positive in regards to the daily. You can see that some cycles are up, but price action continues to push lower. So that's not positive. And then the 149 also is another cluster of things probably turning around in July, which is a plus for the bulls. You got the 39 and the 149. Actually, if you put the 39 and the 149, this is what you get. If you want to be bullish, then this is a forecast that we'll probably be making a swing low this week, and then we push up into August 4th, push back down, and so on, and probably hit a peak somewhere around October. That remains to be seen, but I just figured I just showed you if you're bullish and you're itching to buy, These are the things that will line up with the seasonality chart that I'm going to go next. So next, let's go into the seasonality chart so I can show you what I'm seeing. And now you're going to get the big, you kind of like a bigger picture of what's in my mind and how I'm seeing these charts play out. Okay, guys, so here's a seasonality chart that I use. I'm going to use two just to kind of show you what they both were saying. I like to start with the 5-year. As you can see that June, July are a little weaker. August is kind of flat. September is the weakest. And there's no data for November. October is pretty strong, and December is pretty strong. That's from 2018 to 2022. From there, I'd like to jump to 10 years. You can see that July is pretty flat. August is weaker, and September is the weakest. So that's something to keep on your radar. I know the composite, the daily cycle using the 219 to 104 brought us down to September 24th of 2022 as a trough or swing cycle low. So that'd be interesting to see if September is the one. I know in gold September was pretty hot for a low. And then, you could go to the 15. Let's see what the 15. I like to go straight to the 20. 15, you can see that there August is a little stronger. July was a little stronger. And September is weaker in November. And then we'll go to the 20 years, and you can see that July has been the strongest, but price action is not confirming that. And August is a little stronger, and September is a little weaker, below 50%. And actually, November is the weakest in regards to the seasonality. So we're going to go to another chart and see, in regards to dates on average, where we at and what could potentially play out for July. Okay, guys, this is seasonality year to date with minus 17.69%. So that's not good. If we add in a 5-year, you can see that a 5-year on average, we make a low on July the 7th. So we're already past that. What could this be showing us? That maybe this is maybe a head fake, and we maybe play out the seasonality. See, the seasonality is different from the cycles. That's what I'm just trying to show you. There's different ways to look at it. Sometimes all these things line up, but sometimes they don't. And as a trader, you need to just be aware of this. It's nice when they all line up and they all, are in sync, but sometimes they're not. So you have to kind of decipher and decode this kind of stuff and just kind of make the best judgment and do risk trade management if you want to play this. But looking at the seasonality, using the 5-year average, we normally make a low around July the 7th, and then we continue going up to September, the first week of September, which lines up with the video I did on gold. It kind of like go in sync, but price action hasn't been confirming that. So you have to wait for price action to make higher highs and higher lows, and then you'll be like, okay, maybe this could play out seasonality wise, though in the back of your mind, you got to know that on the weekly cycle, we're still down to next year. Meaning is that we're not going to go straight down to 2023. You're going to get these kind of moves, and sometimes they play out and sometimes they don't. You can, like looking at the 10-year average, you can see that the 10-year average bottoms out somewhere around July the 7th also. And it peaks out somewhere around the first week of September. Now we put the 15-year average. You can see that 15-year average bottomed out somewhere around June. And it still kind of peaks up around September, but then kind of just goes sideways. So if we're going to just kind of stick more with the current, which is the 5 years and the 10 years, this is what, on average, what they do. On the 5-year right here, there's another swing low, a higher low on July the 12th, already on the 14th. And pretty much seasonality, they start ramping up. But price action hasn't done that. So this is something you want to keep an eye on. In regards to the cycles that I've showed you earlier, on the daily cycle, the 39, the dominant cycle, bottoms out on the 13th, which was yesterday. So this kind of lines up. It's like a little mini cluster. There's like two things confirming that the dominant cycle and the seasonality are kind of in sync of making, you know, a trough, a swing low here, cycle low. The daily cycle, the 149 that I told you earlier, if you want to look back on the video, bottoms out the 18th of July. So there's two things already that are kind of lining up that are totally different: seasonality and the daily cycle. So those are the only two I see on the daily that kind of lining up with the seasonality. So something you want to put down on a sticky note or whatever, and just if you're really trading silver, then in theory, this is the week that it should make a bottom and either start going sideways and, you know, start, you know, accumulation distribution, or if there's Momo or news events or whatever, that things to start making higher highs and higher lows if this is going to play out. This is the last chart I wanted to show you. I don't want to make this video too long, but this is a chart that goes all the way back to like 1971. And I pretty much did trend lines from different pivot points. I wanted to kind of zoom in and show you where we're at right here. We already just hit one of the trend lines. I got three that I think are important, and we just hit the first one from this area right here. And you can see that this is supply. All the way down here is all demand. Will it get there? I don't know, but right now we're at area of a trend line, and we just got to see if that's going to hold and that's going to work. There is a signal here that if we crack below 1726, that's going to be a sell signal on the monthly. But on the weekly, we are in a sell signal. We've generated that somewhere around the May 9th. Been pushing lower. You can see that this is right here. You see there was some kind of divergence with the MACD, but the MACD never had a crossover, so it still remains bearish and negative. On the daily, nothing there. Once this flat lines, then that will be, if we're going to go maybe close above 20, then it will be short-term bullish. But as of right now, nothing is positive here. The only thing that is positive that I showed you, if you look back in the video, are the seasonality, which, you know, if you look at it, this is a kind of trade that you'll be like, man, this is an ugly trade to go long. But what do you have backing you up? You have a seasonality that says on the 7th, we were supposed to have a turning point, and it hasn't happened. 7th is right here. Could this be some capitulation? You know, some hitting stops, and maybe it's going to turn. That's all you have to really put some, you know, maybe put an alert up here around 1914. If we can at least close above that little area. And just see on the daily where, you know, if this is the last spike down, and then from here we kind of just go sideways and then make higher highs and higher lows, maybe there could be a probability that the seasonality between July and August going up, and maybe even if it does go up, maybe test this 23 area, or even down here where all these lows are at, 21. That could be a nice little swing trade if we ever get up there, if that ever plays out. But just keep in mind that September, once that first week hits, we start getting weak again, and it could push lower. But that all remains to be seen. The next thing that is bullish for silver right now is the daily cycle, which is the 39 that I mentioned, which is bottomed out the 13th, and also the 149, which bottoms out on the 18th. So that's a couple of more days. So that's what I'm saying. This week is going to be very important. If we start pushing lower, you know, and we go, you know, we start going lower, I mean, real low, and into August, then that seasonality stuff may not play out, or maybe it's not going to play out early, and maybe it might play out into August and then do a catch-up run into September. But that all remains to be seen, but I just figure I'd just let you know what the cycles and the seasonalities are saying, so you just don't go blindly just, oh, I'm buying all the dips, and you're just buying and, you know, catching a falling knife and just slicing your hands all over the place and seeing blood everywhere. You don't want to do that. You want to kind of trade and be, you know, be like a shark or a sniper and take your opportunities if they start playing out. Right now, I don't see anything. The only thing is that trend line. If that holds, and it kind of dips in, but kind of goes back up, and it kind of goes sideways, and the price action might be confirming that maybe there might be a turnaround. But as of right now, we got to look at the dollar. There's other things you got to keep in mind. You got to keep in mind the general markets. There's a lot of other factors, but this is just a little glance into seasonality and cycles of what they're telling us. I'm going to sign out. Hopefully you like this video, and I'll keep you posted on my thoughts on silver using Gann price and time technical analysis.